Hey everyone, my name is Graf, and these are the few things that I chose to cover out of the many things that I've learned so far in interpersonal communications. So this is my video reflection. The first thing that I've really learned this semester so far that I've kind of taken with me that I think I can implement into my life going forward is the different channels of communication. So texting, email, phone. Just I think we all got to learn how you can have more control over certain types of messages, whether that be when the people that you're working with will receive that message, and then the amount of detail that they're going to take from that message. So, and then also being able to control their attention that they're giving. So, for example, I probably knew it anyway, but now I definitely know that if I make a phone call, I'm going to have more of somebody's attention, or at least knowing that I have more of their attention than if I sent an email or a text message, something like that. So I think that's something that we can all implement into our lives, whether it be just figuring out which situation is better for a text or a call, or whether it's in a working place to maybe send an email or leave a voice message, something like that. So I thought that was interesting that I got to build my own thoughts on a little bit more through those assignments. And then the Johari window assignment I thought was good, how we got to take the survey, learn about our self-disclosure levels, and then also learn about soliciting feedback from others. So, for example, I found out that I don't self-disclose very often or in many situations. So I think that's just kind of my own personal style. I don't think it's right or wrong, but it's nice to know that if I feel like I'm having trouble having situations go the way I want them to, that maybe self-disclosing a little bit more often in situations will help me gain a little bit more control over certain situations. And then I found out that I do solicit feedback a lot from others, which I think is a good thing. I don't see there's can be many negative things about soliciting feedback from others, gaining a different perspective on things in life. So that I thought that assignment was cool because I got to see those two things about myself. Not just somebody telling me, but actually taking a survey to see the numbers and see where that came out on the graph. I thought was pretty interesting to see. So when we had to create a flyer for better communicating with people from a different culture, I chose the Mexican culture. So I've worked in the golf industry before, so there's a lot of people who are working certain jobs at a golf course where they might not even speak English. So there's a few things that I learned about their culture that I didn't know before, that if I find myself in that sort of situation, again, working in a place with people of Mexican culture, I'll have a better idea of certain things to do in order to better communicate and not offend them. So a few of those things that I found out is that you shouldn't raise your voice when speaking with people of Mexican culture, because they view that as a sign of anger, whether or not you're actually exhibiting anger. They naturally feel it comes out that way. So that's something to avoid. Another thing, if you do wave to somebody, it's more respectful to do it with your palm down. I didn't really find any backstory on that, but that's something that they follow. So I would look to follow that if I was communicating with somebody of Mexican culture. And then you also shouldn't call anybody by their first name unless you've been authorized to do so. So if you're meeting somebody for the first time, you'd call them Senor, Senorita, or Senora, rather than calling them by their first name. Even if you might be predisposed to what that is, it's better to not do that and to just follow those labels that I just mentioned. And then the last assignment that we had this week I also thought was very interesting. It's the last thing that I'm sharing here in this video, and that was perception checking and perception checking statements. So kind of goes along with those channels of communication, but the statement of perception checking is a good thing to really find out what somebody means with either their actions, their words. So rather than playing a guessing game, just come straight out. And I thought it was a good exercise to write a couple of those statements where so the three steps where you think that perception's always in the eye of the beholder. So for those three steps, first the description of the behavior, so you let the person know your description of what you think the behavior was, and then you offer two possible interpretations. So I'm just assuming that you go with the two best in your mind, the two best interpretations of what you think they might be talking about, and then you do request at the end for clarification to try and find out what their true meaning of what their actions or words are. So I thought that's a great way to better communicate, operate more on an open book basis rather than trying to play a guessing game, trying to guess what people mean with their intentions. So I thought those were a few great things we've learned early on in the year, and I look forward to hearing what all you guys have learned. I'm sure it's some of the same stuff, some different things, and look forward to learning more in this class. Thanks.